Welcome back. So in the last session we have discussed about the block diagram of digital communication system. Now we are going to discuss about unit 1, that is pulse code modulation technique. So after completing this unit, you may able to analyze the performance of different waveform encoding schemes. In the last class, we have discussed about the formatter in block diagram of digital communication system. Under that, I briefed the formatter consists of 3 different sub blocks that are sampler, quantizer and encoder. So in this class we are going to briefly discuss about the process happens in sampler. Under this unit we are going to study different kinds of waveform encoding schemes such as pulse code modulation, differential pulse code modulation, adaptive differential pulse code modulation, delta modulation and adaptive delta modulation. So as the first, we are going to first discuss about sampling. Then we are going to discuss about quantization, then the encoding techniques. So in the previous class we have discussed about the formatter. The formatter consists of, the purpose of the formatter is to convert analog signal into digital signal. Inside the formatter we are having 3 devices. One is sampler, then is quantizer and then encoder. Generally we know analog signal is continuous in both time as well as in amplitude. We can simply call it as continuous time signal. So it will be converted into discrete time signal with the help of sampling process. Then this discrete time signal is converted into digital signal with the help of quantization. Then encoding comes into the part. Encoding converts the digital signal into binary information. Digital binary information. This is the thing what we are going to briefly discuss, and the process involved in sampling, quantization and encoding. All these things will be discussed under these topics. Also, we are going to perform the analysis of each and every subblocks. The impacts when we allow the original physical phenomena into these subblocks and how to avoid those kinds of impacts. That are all the things we are going to have a clear picture under this unit. So all these 3 combinedly together and called as pulse code modulation, simply abbreviated as PCM. Also, we are going to analyze the performance metric of PCM system in terms of bandwidth, in terms of signal to noise ratio. And we are going to compare the performance of PCM with other systems such as differential PCM, adaptive differential PCM, delta modulation and adaptive delta modulation. So, and we are going to compare the performances of all these systems in Unit 1. So, as discussed earlier, we are first going to discuss about the first subblock of the formatter called as sampler. Sampler is a device which is used to do sampling process. So, sampling, it is the first step in the conversion of an analog signal to digital signal. And it converts the continuous time analog signal into discrete time signal. For that, we are going to take few samples from the continuous time signal. For example, let us consider a analog signal. Let me consider a analog signal. Let me assume it as a voice signal. So, this is continuous in nature. The continuous in nature means it is continuous in amplitude as well as continuous in time axis. So, generally we are having three different signals. One is continuous time signal, then is discrete time signal, and another one is digital signal. And it is having two different natures that are time and amplitude. In continuous time signal, the time is continuous, amplitude is also continuous in nature. In discrete time signal, the time is continuous, the time is discretized, but the amplitude is still continuous. In digital signal, both the time as well as amplitude are discretized. That means in analog signal we are having infinite number of amplitudes between two time instants. So we are going to remove the infinite number of amplitude into finite number of amplitudes. So for example, this is the 0 second, this is 0.1 second. So if you separate into 1000, 10 to the power 6, 10 to the power 9, then each will have some amplitude. So we may consider it as an infinite number of amplitudes. So sampling is a process used to pick up few infinite number of samples from the continuous time signal at some time instance. This is what we are going to do in this sampling process. Already you have studied about this sampling process in the earlier semesters. Anyhow, we are going to discuss this sampling process in the digital communication perspective. So, after doing sampling, the continuous time signal will be converted into discrete time signal, and discrete time signal, but anyhow the amplitudes of these signals are not discretized. They are again continuous in nature. So we will brief in when we go in depth of that to the next level, that is in quantization process. We will discuss about the thing, how to convert the continuous nature of the amplitude of discrete time signal into digital nature. But that is not our concern in this topic. So to pick up the samples from the analog signal, we may do some mathematical operation. That mathematical operation is the product, and the thing we are going to multiply with the analog signal is the pulse train, or we can simply call it as impulse train. train. So generally we will call this signal as impulse signal T, del of T, and the amplitude of the pulse signal is 1, and the area is cannot define. At a time t is equal to 0, it will be defined. This is called as impulse signal. But we are going to have series of impulses, and we can call that signal as impulse train. Generally, the impulse train is defined with the help of a mathematical expression P of t is equal to del of t plus del of t minus some value plus del of t minus some another value wherever the shifts are being happen. That I will elaborate in the next slide. So, if all the pulse strains are having an amplitude of 1, then if it is multiplied with particular signal, this particular amplitude will be taken. This particular amplitude will be taken. This particular amplitude will be taken, this particular amplitude, such like these amplitudes. Without any loss, we can able to pick the amplitude of the continuous time signal when we multiply this impulse train with continuous time signal. This is what a simple mathematical operation we can perform to convert the continuous time signal into discrete time signal, so that magnitudes are represented here. So simply we can write x of t is equal to x of t into p of t, where x of t is the analog signal, p of t is the impulse train. Moreover, we have to very much concern about the time duration between one pulse and the next pulse. That is the time duration between one sample to the next consecutive sample, and that time duration is called as sampling time. And we always know that the sampling frequency is inversely proportional to the sampling time period. So let the time period between these two samples is Ts seconds, then the sampling frequency Fs is equal to 1 divided by Ts. So Fs is measured in hertz. So these two parameters are very much important in converting the continuous time signal into discrete time signal. So we may choose a proper values for these two parameters to perfectly reconstruct the original signal without any loss at the receiver side, but we cannot able to recover the original signal at the another end, that is at the receiver end, without any loss. There may be some loss, but it can be tolerated. The loss can be tolerated. In such a way, we have to choose the values Ts and Fs. So, and the samples should be taken in such a way that the time gap between all the samples should be equal. That is, let me see this diagram. If this is, let me assume this as the zeroth sample, this is sample instant -1, -2, -3, -4. One likewise, if we assume the sample instance, so the gap between the 0th instant to the first instant should be equal to this interval. Likewise, all the time gaps between all the samples should be equally distributed. This is very much important. So if this is Ts, this should also be Ts. This should also be Ts. So the first instant will be present at Ts, second instant will be present at 2 Ts, third instant will be present will go on. So we can simply represent this P of t as a series addition of del of t. We will discuss about that thing in later class. And as all are having same amplitude and equally distributed, we can call this as periodic pulse train. As per the Fourier series, we can write the periodic pulse train as the sum of Cn into exponential of j 2 pi n fs t, and Cn is the Fourier coefficient. Cn is the Fourier coefficient. And this is the complex Fourier exponential complex Fourier series representation. And whereas the Fourier coefficient can be written as 1 divided by Ts integral over minus Ts by 2 to Ts by 2 P of t into exponential of minus j 2 pi n fs t into dt. Hence, this P of t can be substituted in xs of t. We know that xs of t, that is the sampled signal. Xs of t is x of t into P of t. Here P of t is the sampling signal, xs of t is the sampled signal. So if you substitute this expression in this P of t place, you will get this expression. Now we are going to derive what happens in the spectrum of the sampled signal. So we have to take Fourier transform for all the time domain relations. So we already know that xs of f is the spectrum of the sampled signal, which can be written as Fourier transform of the time domain signal xs of t. So this is the Fourier transform expression. You know very well, integral of minus infinity to infinity xs of t into e to the power of j 2 pi of t dt. So if you do the calculation and substituting the value of P of t here, and the integral component is only with respect to time, you can take the constant value outside of the integral, and this can be written as the shift in frequency of x of f minus x of f. Okay, so simply we can write as Cn into summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity Cn into x of f minus n fs. From this, what we understood is, if x of t is the signal to be sampled, if x of t is the signal to be sampled, and x of f, that is the Fourier transform of x of t, that is x of f is the spectrum of the signal to be sampled, and you may from this expression we can write this as, I am writing from n is equal to 0, okay, but it is extends up to minus infinity. Anyhow, I am writing it from n is equal to 0. We can write this as C naught x of f plus C1 x of f minus fs plus C2 x of f minus 2fs, and it will go on up to infinite duration. So from this, what we can be able to understand is the spectrum x of f is weighted by some coefficient C naught, and the same x of f replicated over a frequency interval of Fs. So x of f is replicated at Fs and 2Fs, 3Fs, and it will go on. Similarly on the negative part of minus Fs, minus 2Fs, minus 3Fs, and go on. And each and every replicated spectrum is weighted by some coefficient value that are called as Fourier series coefficient. So when we do sampling on a signal, continuous time signal, at the time domain we will have the discretized amplitude at different time instants, which are all periodic in nature. On the other hand, in frequency domain, we are having the replicated spectrum weighted by Fourier coefficient. This is what we are having at the another end. Based on the type of the sampling signal, we may categorize the sampling into three different types: ideal sampling, natural sampling, and flat top sampling. So ideal sampling is nothing but here the sampling signal should be impulse train. Here the sampling, in natural sampling, the sampling signal should be a pulse train. Here also the sampling signal should be a pulse train, but in this sampling, the output of the sample will have a continuous varying amplitude, whereas in flat top sampling, the signal is having a constant amplitude. Continuous constant amplitude. We will describe these two sampling process in the later classes. Okay, first we will deal with the ideal sampling. So in ideal sampling, the sampling signal should be the ideal impulse signal, impulse train signal. So we will represent one impulse signal as del of t, and it is having the amplitude at t is equal to 0 as 1. And the same kind of impulse will be repeated at Ts, 2Ts, 3Ts likewise. So I am drawing another impulse which is having an amplitude of 1 at time t is equal to Ts. So this is nothing but the impulse is delayed. The impulse signal is delayed for a time of Ts seconds. So I am writing the expression as del of t minus Ts. Similarly, the next signal, that impulse will be present at 2Ts. The amplitude is present at 2Ts. So this will be written as del of t minus 2Ts. So if we add all these together, then it can be represented as at Ts it is having 1. Sorry, at 0 it is having 1. At Ts also it is having 1. At 2Ts also it is having 1. This is the addition of all these three signals. Del of t plus del of t minus Ts plus del of t minus 2Ts. Similarly, we are going to add the same kind of signals for infinite shifts, infinite number of time shifts, so that we can simply write it as the sum of k is equal to minus infinity to infinity del of t minus kTs. So again we are doing the same procedure as we do in the previous slides. We are finding the Fourier coefficient. So the Fourier coefficient here, what we get is Cn is equal to 1 divided by Ts, that is equal to Fs. 1 by Ts, that is nothing but Fs. Here C0, C1, C2 or C minus 1, C minus 2, whatever it may be, the value is constant in the case of ideal sampling. So it is not varying. The coefficient is having a constant value. So now we are going to, this is the spectrum of sampling signal. So P of t, we know that sampling signal in time domain is represented by P of t is equal to summation of k is equal to minus infinity to infinity del of t minus kts. So this can, if you take Fourier transform of this signal with the help of the representing it by means of that is P of f is nothing but the Fourier transform of P of t. Since it is a periodic signal, we have to apply the Fourier series instead of this P of t in the Fourier transform expression, so that we will have this kind of value. So we know that Cn is nothing but Fs. Cn, the value of the coefficient is Fs. And we know that in sampling, what we do is, in time domain, we are multiplying the signal which is to be sampled with the sampling signal to produce sampled signal. In time domain, we are writing it as xs of t is equal to x of t multiplied with p of t. So the product of two signals in time domain is equivalent to the convolution of the same two signals in frequency domain. That is what here it is written. Xs of f is equal to x of f convolved with p of f. So we know the expression for p of f here, and we do xs of f, that is the spectrum of the sampled signal is nothing but Fs into summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of f minus n of s. As we already noted down in the very previous case, again I am writing for n is equal to 0, 1 and 2 and having infinite number of replicated spectrum on the negative portion as well as on the positive portion. I am writing only three components. Fs into x of f, if you put n is equal to 0 here, x of fs plus x of f plus fs into x of f minus fs plus fs into x of f minus 2fs, and it will go on. From this what we can understand is, again we can say that the same replicated spectrum is replicated. The spectrum is replicated over a particular frequency interval and it is weighted by a constant factor called Fs. Now we will see the brief illustration of the sampled signal, sampling signal and the analog signal in both continuous time and in time domain as well as in frequency domain. This is the signal assumed as an analog signal, and we can assume this as the spectrum, that is the Fourier transform of this signal x of t, and this is the magnitude spectrum of the signal which is to be sampled. And we know that the pulse plane can be written as the sum of shifted impulses. Again the same we are having in frequency domain. We have already derived in the previous slide. If you take Fourier transform, again it will have a periodic pulse plane which is having an amplitude of Fs. So the same signal is replicated over a frequency duration of Fs seconds. Over a frequency duration of Fs seconds. From this expression, we can define the sampling theorem. Here, can be represented. Okay, that we will discuss it in the next session.